He's a nosy bastard. Straight
I'm
in with
live.
fucking what
I'm
happened
live.
with
I'm
what
live.
happened with Marius.
Hey guys. Opa, there we go. Hey, how are you doing, everybody? Hope you're doing well today. So, today, what do I want to do? I actually just want to have some random cybersecurity talks. Let's see if some of my other rats are going to join. But probably, and yeah, it should be. There we go. Let me just put it like that. If somebody in the chat has any questions or wants to drop in, always welcome to, of course. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? Topics, different topics. Hey, Baludin. Hey, Ikashikam. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well.
Yes,
I'm good, thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
I'm good. How are you are doing, Bluden and Uncle?
Very good, very good. Just so you guys know, I'm live on YouTube as well. So you're on the YouTube channel. Welcome. Don't be afraid to talk, by the way. There's 0 viewers, so we're pretty much alone here. We have a nice, cozy little area here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I just wanted to actually chill at the end of the evening a little bit because Orgus and I have been working really fucking hard on shit. And you guys know that, of course. Like, the thing is that there is execution and there is like teaching. And if you want to do things, that's one thing. But if you want to teach that to somebody else, damn, that's hard. I You have experience with that, right, Balloon?
Yeah, right. True.
Okay. I mean, Ikashikam, do you want to maybe tell a little bit about like how you have experienced that? Because I think you're also trying to teach certain things to other people, right?
Yes, like I have few local like school going kids whom I teach some basics like port scanning and other like basic cybersecurity stuff. Like not as of now, but it was before like 7 to 8 months back.
So you're going to pretty much teach the youth how to hack already. I mean, maybe you should teach them ethical and responsibility as well. No, no, of
Yes,
course.
yes.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know you do
Yes,
that, man.
no. Like they are curious. Like when some big attack happens and it's in news. So like this kid starts like asking around like what is this? What is this? How does it happen? So like what they think is like hacking is purely based on movie or like some magic thing. When you do this something, you can like already into some system and already you are experting thing. I told them like it's not like that. You have to do a ton of things to make this thing happen.
For sure, that's true. I'm going to go and like show you guys a little bit, like the colonial pipelines, the attacks. Have you guys heard what happened there? No.
Like, was this a while back?
Yeah, this was in 2021, so this was a few years ago.
Oh yes, part of it. I think like Jack Resider spoke on this once, I guess.
I think
Darknet
so.
Diaries.
Yeah, it was a really like it was an interesting attack. I have also, sorry, Ikashikam. I'm going to mute you for one moment. There we go. I will unmute you in a moment. It's just that I get a lot of feedback. But this is something that I've made a video about as well. I can just hear myself in the mic. No issue, by the way. That's why I just muted you. Not that you think that you're like punished or something. But this is something that I've made a video on a while ago. And if you are interested in that, I can conjure up that video. But basically, there was ransom paid for this, and they were able to recover partially that ransom. The way that the attack happened was also super interesting because I believe I don't remember exactly if it was on this one or on another one, but there was attacks on third-party suppliers, which was really fucking crazy, dude. It's like you can have your own security as good as you want, but as third-party suppliers don't, if they don't follow, yeah, and you ingest data from those third-party suppliers, yeah, fuck. Sorry, by the way, you can unmute yourself. I'm. There we go. What I also wanted to talk about with you guys is AI and hacking, and how that influences your behavior. Hey, Ashan, how are you doing, mate? That's on the YouTube, by the way. Oh, you can see that, right? You guys can see the screen. Of course, I'm sharing it. What an idiot. So, uh, AI and hacking. Do you guys use a lot of AI?
Yes, quite a lot.
Can you, do you have an example, maybe?
Uh, like when me and Bluden were hunting on Global80, it was my first time for GraphQL. So like I asked ChatGPT around the GraphQL for schemas,
Hmm.
like how to manipulate, or like are there any common operator name and stuff, and like it replied pretty well, and like we were having 403 internal server error, but like payloads and like other things which ChatGPT suggested were actually good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But the problem is with that, and don't mean that in a bad way, of course, but that's kind of like hacking something you don't really know and then trying to get AI to hack it for you. The way I use it more, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, just to be very clear. But the way that I use it more is like, for example, if I need a script created and I know exactly what functionalities of that script should be, what the error handling should look like, what the logging should look like, and what the output should look like, and I can describe that concisely, I'll have ChatGPT do it because it's a 5 minute job to describe it, and it may be like an hour long job to make it. So that's where I use it a lot, for example.
But that like I use the other way, like the things which I'm not so clear about, I use for that.
It's also good, of course. Like you can learn about the things that you don't know anything about, and that's why I like bug bounties so much. I think that that thing resonated very well with you. What I said yesterday about progressing versus just finding bugs, right?
Oh yes, true. Like at the end of the day, you should be knowing something, like growth in a knowledge, or like growth in your skill, or technical skill set,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah, but don't forget that you like what AI has done for me, and that gives me a little bit of a headache sometimes. Is I want to sometimes take shortcuts where if I know something and I want to teach that in a certain way, for example, it's easy for me because I can then have ChatGPT make me a Python script that takes JSON as input and spits out PowerPoints. And then I can quickly have ChatGPT make me a base JSON file, which I can turn into a PowerPoint. And it's good that way, but it also makes it so that I don't have to think about what I want to teach anymore to a degree. And that's not, of course, I go through it, but it's different going through it than recollecting my own thoughts, if that makes sense.
Yes, like you could have much more control over your results. Like how do you want it?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's like really these. It's also very annoying because it's like I have ADHD, and if I don't see something in front of me, I don't realize it's there. So with my own knowledge, it's the same thing. With knowledge, it's exactly the same for me. If I don't see in front of me what I know, I have trouble with it. And seeing somebody else's work is not the same for me. That's why I also think it's important for you rats to make your own methodologies, not follow somebody else's methodology. Not that there's something wrong with that, but if you follow what everybody else is doing, you will eventually just find what everybody else is finding. Right? That's correct.
Yes, true.
It's difficult, I think, and especially with AI, because AI is very generic. If I have to teach you about cross-site scripting, or you ask ChatGPT to teach you about cross-site scripting, it'll be different. But if I then ask ChatGPT to make me a PowerPoint about cross-site scripting, I am much more prone to do things in a lazier way, and that's not good. So I stopped using it as much, like quite a lot actually. I don't use it as much anymore at all. But for the boring tasks where I need scripts created, or I need to have like some code examples for a PowerPoint, just a code snippet, I can then do that. Or for the lab creation. And that's also really good because if you want to learn about an exploit, you can ask ChatGPT to show it in code and explain it to you.
Oh yeah, like that's what I used to do when I started. Like uh, uh, examples of improper sanitization, like valid sanitization, like what are the difference, like how sanitization works when it's proper sanitization, when like what happens when the sanitization is weak.
Yeah,
Like ChatGPT did a table and it was really well mentioned.
that's what it can be very useful for indeed. I like that as well about like AI, but we have to be careful and realize that it's just a tool. A lot of people seem to praise it up to into the heavens, but I don't think you learn as well. So if I were to learn something that I don't know from ChatGPT, I would have to ask it very specific questions. And a lot of people think they can ask ChatGPT to learn you about SQL injection and it'll be quite complete, but that's not the case at all. It'll be very, very scattered. You just need to realize that you need to take it as another source of truth. But there should not be a single source of truth because that doesn't exist. Like, the thing is, if I explain something to you in a certain way, I'm certain that I make mistakes. It's as simple as that. And you can take the generic average, so for example, iDoors. What you could do is you could look at internet and look at all of the explanations that there are for iDoors, and then you could like eliminate what they don't talk about in common. So if there's one article talking about iDoors in this way, and another in that way, you can eliminate those to a degree. That's how ChatGPT works. It basically removes any unclarities, or it doesn't tell you certainties, uncertainties. But those are what make learning about these exploits so beautiful. Because if I explain it to you, I explain it to you in a way where it makes it maybe understandable to some people, but some people might still miss a few things. That's why there are labs, and you can go try that if you're still not content. There's the Portswigger Academy. If you want to learn more about XSS, look at Brute Logic. That guy is also fucking amazing. You can look at there's so many people that are really good at cross-site scripting, and you can learn from them, but you should make your own analysis of what you should be learning about. Like, it's not as simple as always just having a case in front of you, learn about XSS, go to A, B, C, D. No, that's not how it works. That's why there are courses, of course. You can grab courses. By the way, our courses are in sale if you are interested in that. 90% off in a lot of them. I'll put a link in the description below, including that cross-site scripting one. Reason I'll talk about later, not important now. But just to like conclude on the topic of AI for this, because I'm going off topic, I think that AI is a tool just like any other tool, and you have to use it just like any other tool. If my dad wants to go and he's a construction worker, if he wants to go and like lay bricks, he's going to use mortar, and he's going to use one of those shovels to get the mortar out of the fucking bags and properly, into the fucking location. I don't know. I'm not a fucking mason. All the masoners are there are like, wow, you fucking idiot. But it's really important to realize that tools have a specific purpose, and ChatGPT has a purpose. It should be there, but you should look at it like a dumb assistant that you can ask to do simple stuff. Like some idiot that you hire on Fiverr, basically. That's what you should look at. Because like on Fiverr, if you buy something for $5, you'll get quality for $5. We all know that, right? So it's the same thing here. If you ask ChatGPT some simple questions, you'll get simple answers. But that thing also hallucinates half of the time. It literally hallucinates half of the time. Like And please, for the love of God, if you ask it for SQL injection, like commands or like attack vectors, don't use the drop tables or whatever. Jesus Christ, that thing literally suggests me to drop table. I still have videos of that. What the hell is wrong with this stuff? Yeah. So it's important to keep that at the back of our minds, I think. And speaking on the topic of tools, like I have quite a lot of tools that I know, but if I really think about it, and if I really think about hacking, and I'm going to ask that to you as well, Baludin, like the real tools that you need to find actual bugs, the way that I've been teaching you with broken access control, is not really that expensive, right? You need like Burp Suite and you need like Authorize, and that's it.
You're right, right. And actually, authorize seems kind of more work to do than
Yeah, true, right?
manually. Yeah,
You're right, dude. It's like sometimes easier to just go into the repeater and change the authorization token yourself, right? Fuck.
yeah, right.
I've noticed it
Because
as
if
well.
you're using, yeah,
Oh no, I just had noticed it as well, but sometimes I think authorize is nice because I can really fast click through an application and you find it more work, but what I do is I go through and I filter out what I don't need. So if there is like for example any type of public page that already goes into the filter of the exception list, if there are indexes, if there is something that like I filter out quite a lot of stuff already, and then it only leaves me if I'm testing for IDORs with the object endpoints. All the other endpoints are filtered out. And because a lot of these applications use the same structure, blah 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 ID or something with ID in the name, you can also work inclusively and set it up where it only captures ID endpoints. That's more interesting, I think, because that makes things faster. But it all depends. Like, if you want to test for broken access control, there I feel like authorized can be more of a hindrance than a help sometimes.
oh yeah, right, true.
It's like,
Well, that's that's a good one to use authorized to testing either. But yeah, but for I think for privilege escalation, for example, are mm, quite not that simple to test because if you facing like post request and delete request, put request, fetch request, maybe you can't just rely on the authorized to replace the cookie because the object relation, object creation, creating object, and those kind of things. So, and when you manually uh, hunting like just using the repeater, you will automatically construct a scenario in your mind, right? And so that would help.
that's a good one. Because you're working with the requests themselves, you're also touching on all of the different object properties. And that's something that you can't forget as well. Well, not you, I mean me in general and everybody. That with your broken access control, you have on function level, you have on object level, but you also have an object property level broken access control. And that's impossible to test with authorize.
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of people forget that. Like, forget to test for that. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean is, if you have an API, you have objects like users and user identifiers, and you test if you can see other users. But what some people don't test is if you can change properties of other users, or see properties of yourself or access properties of yourself which you shouldn't be able to access, like users. If you do a request to change your username, you might get back in the response that there's an account type user. You can copy that account type, you can try to edit that, you can try to change that. That's an object property level. That you can't test it
Oh,
with authorized. That's impossible.
even if you can't change the username, but if there, okay, for example, a profile that has a username and a like account description. So if even if you can't change the username of the profile, is there is still a possibilities which is you can change the description of that profile.
Yeah, that's true. Indeed what I mean. That's fully correct indeed. And like I found on my broken access controls that I found that it does make up a substantial amount, but for each, and I can give you this as a tip, for every different bug bounty program, you should always test it at the very least one time, and that is for the account type that you're working with. Because there could be a trial version, or you need to go into you need to go into the settings of the company and save the company settings and see if there's something in the request that you might find interesting and see if there's something in the response that you might find interesting. And with that user, change the user's settings, your own user, and see if there's something in the request and the response that you find interesting. Those things are like that's where you often find things which you probably shouldn't change or shouldn't have access to but are still able to change. And a lot of people also think, and this is a super big tip for everybody watching on YouTube, that the bug bounties, the bugs that are found are often found in the most difficult sections or with the most difficult exploits possible. That's not really true. You just need to spend a lot of time with these targets because I feel like a lot of it is also luck based. And you can shoot me for this, but I stand my ground here because I feel like you can be as skilled as possible. If you don't pick the right targets, you're shit out of luck. You're shit out of luck because if you keep picking the targets that have the waffs that block every single attempt, you're not gonna get anywhere. Versus if you are super skilled and if you pick the targets which have left defenses or like just the right defense in the way that suits your attack style, that's like that's why I say it's so important to hunt a lot. One of my guys asked me today, I hunt for 2 hours a day for the last week. That's about 10 hours a week. That's nothing. Nothing. 10 hours on a target is nothing. Right, Paluden and Ikashikam? Like, if you.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, bro?
Yeah, like if you want a proper time, you should ask Bluden like what's the proper hunting time.
So tell us, Paluden, how much do we hunt?
Well, well, I think like uh a lot of times a day. Like maybe sometimes I go for hunt like 10 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just sometimes.
Holy shit, you freak. You remind me so much of myself. I used to come home from when this is when I didn't have a kid yet, and that's why it's so like there's a lot of difference now because I have a 6 year old. But I used to come home and I had time where I had like I don't know 5 or 6 hours every day where I was hacking. Just literally hacking, 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 hacking. And then you find stuff. But if you hunt for 2 hours a day, like you should at least hunt for 4 weeks, then, in my opinion. 40 hours, that approximates to me where you could find something. If you look at things, and it's difficult to do this right now, but if you look at things on average, right? About 40 hours on a new target is what I would need to familiarize myself enough with it to feel like I could start finding bugs on it. Because
Yeah,
I don't
right, right.
do like I don't know about you guys, but I don't hack from the start.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the okay. So the most thing that takes a lot of times are the like when you just open your open the target and you're not familiar with it, so you need a lot of times to knowing every feature in
I thought I was alone in that.
then
You need
yeah.
so much time to explore it, right? And like you say, like get to know all of the features. And what Ikajakam said yesterday was it really shook me because I thought that it was more common knowledge. But when you attack an API target, you need to authenticate yourself properly and you need to learn how that API works. Because an API is an application programming interface written by a developer. It's like a custom thing. It has its own rules, ideas, architectures. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, Kashakam. I don't mean that in a bad way, bro.
No, no.
But it's really important that when you hack with APIs, that you know how to use the right tools as well, right? So, like Postman is a very important API hacking tool, which I feel a lot of people should learn. But what a lot of people don't seem to realize on top of that is that you can proxy. Yes, you can set the proxy in Postman to Burp Suite and you can capture your requests in Burp Suite. That's another extra layer which you can throw on top of that. You can do that with all of these tools, by the way. That's where ChatGPT could be very useful as well. You could, for example, have ChatGPT, you could have it generate a lot of this stuff for you. That's where AI is useful, of course. Oh, fuck off. Jesus, not internal knowledge with ChatGPT. Oh god, dude, Orgus, we can connect Google Drive to ChatGPT. Let's do this shit, dude. Oh, this is fucking awesome. Dude, this is fucking awesome. I like this. So the reason I really like this is because oh nice, and I can both of you guys. So the reason I really like this is because we can now asset a lot about the stuff that we have on our Google Drive. Fucking nice. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Right, so tools. Let's ask ChatGPT to create a script for us, and the script should do something simple. Back to chat. My account is connected. There we go. Oh, this is so fucking awesome. Oh, later. Not fuck with this now. I want you to make a script for me in Python that will have a proxy I can set and that will ask me an endpoint and ask me auth token and ask me get or post and depending on change the body or ask for the body, I should say ask for a body. So I'm asking it make me a script right now. There we go. So we have proxies that we can set. We can set that to our own Burp Suite stuff. And here we enter the API endpoint. It's going to ask us that, of course, see the input thing. Then the authentication token. And then if it's a get or a post. Then it's going to add that bearer token. So it's working with JWT. If you're using basic authentication, you're shit out of luck. And then it asks you to enter either a JSON body or not. And it's going to try to do that request through Burp Suite. So if you're talking to a proxy, great. Very useful. Because now you can, sorry, to an API. What am I saying, to a proxy? Now you can very easily just talk to the API with this thing. Maybe you can make it better. Maybe you can make it simpler. Maybe you can add a GUI. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see it struggle to add a GUI. Oh god, yes. Let's do that. Dude, then we make our own freaking Postman. We don't need Postman anymore. There we go. Let's see if we can execute this fucker. Do we have Visual Studio Code on this PC? Yes, we do. Yeah, but sorry if it's a bit messed up. That's okay. You guys don't mind anyway, right? Test.py, I should say. And then we execute this. Do you want to use proxy? So it's asking me, do you want to use a proxy? Yes. Proxy. Let's just do the basic localhost, right? Port 80. I don't have a proxy open right now. So now it's asking me to enter the API URL endpoint. Do we have API Labs online? I don't think, no, we don't have API Labs online. I thought so. So that's not going to happen. What other APIs could we use? The Pet Store API, Pet Store Swagger.io. So we can see here, what is the endpoint that we want to call upon? No, let's just do a get. Let's do a get, find by status, try it out. So this is just a get, and it is to endpoint this, status available. And then we enter the auth token, we don't have that. Then it's asking us get and post. Get, and then we don't have a connection because we don't have a fucking proxy set up. Duh. Now, one more thing that I want to ask it is make UI1 screen and make it have a history. You see that I know what I want from this, right? I know what I'm going to need from this. I know what I want it to look like. I know what UI elements I want there. I know what I want my UI to look like, but I don't want to write this fucking code. And I'm not going to pay Orgus to write this code for me because he's just going to do the same and he's just going to go to ChatGPT anyway. I know the fucker. That entire bot that he made is built on that shit, dude. And don't tell me it's not, because I know it is. I fucking know it is. Okay, so we have this endpoint. We don't have a proxy at the moment, so the API endpoint, we don't need the authentication token. We want to get, we don't have a proxy URL, we don't need a body. Send request is failing us. Oh no, it's not failing us. It actually works. And we have a fucking history of, yeah, I think it didn't understand what I mean by history. But the request is sent. And we have a history of the responses. It's something. It's not exactly what I wanted with history, but hey, dude, this thing is writing me a fucking nice little tool here. In the history, I just want an overview of past requests. I want to build this tool out now because I like this. I want to start using this. I'm not kidding. In the history, past requests, and I want to be able to click on them and get back the full request and response in the UI. Because this is actually turning into something that I could see myself using, to be fair. It's not that Postman is bad, and the thing is, like, you could think of situations where Postman just isn't allowed to be used, where you have to write your own tools. It is possible, it happens. Something like this could be very useful in that situation. We had this on one of our customers that we were pen testing on. We were not allowed to use Postman on there, so we had to write our own script in Python. We didn't have ChatGPT back then yet, just so you know, because this thing is like really fucking doing nice. So let's try to send the request again to the same API endpoint as before. Status this, available, no token, request, no fucking way. And if we click it, holy shit, dude! That's fucking awesome! got to be fucking shitting me. Dude, this is fucking nice. So we want pet ID 1 with name this and status available, I believe. Execute. Okay, so now let's do it to this endpoint and make it a post request. I know you guys are probably like, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Why is he so impressed with himself? This is freaking nice for me. Thank you very much. This is freaking awesome. So the request URL, that's freaking nice, but where is the request body? Here. So name is this, status is available. That should be the body. That's not a JSON body. So that cannot be sent because we can only send JSON. That could be another optimization. So we just have to convert that to JSON. That means that we put a squirrely bracket in front of it. We put name and then we put this and then we put it in this and we put this like so, and we say this is that, and we do this. Invalid JSON, I probably fucked up somewhere still. That's okay. We don't need it. I don't need you anyway. But we can add more things in here. We can add a boost. Why not? Let's do that. So basically, let's say to ChatGPT that I want to be able to pick between form data and I want to be able to get put and delete as well, and I want to be able to pick between form data like this, so what we had in here, or just plain JSON. And then what I could add is probably save to a file so you know where you left off. This is fucking great. I'm sorry I'm so impressed, but I really like this stuff. This is what ChatGPT is fantastic at. I don't know how it's this good at coding. I seriously don't know how they made a like a large language model, literally one of the best coding machines that I've seen so far. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot, but look at this dude. Fucking hell. So now we can post to, and we can put and delete. This is fucking great. I know I'm like a little child. I shouldn't be this impressed with myself, but I am, okay? It's like it's almost like I wrote this myself. I know I didn't, but that's what it feels like. Dude. Type unknown message 1. Oh, dude. That's the same as we get here. So that works. We can get this thing fucking fired up. Do you guys want this code? Does anybody feel this code is useful for them in the Discord server?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, I'll put this on GitHub then, if that's okay. I might work a little bit more on this because I want this to be able to save the history and reload it now. That seems like another optimization we could do. Now, allow me to save and load where I left off by adding a menu at the top.
Actually, I've made the, like, what is it, bug hunting endpoint manager or something like that, so I can store the endpoint that I have been through in the application, and exporting it to CSV, then importing it to CSV, something like that. But never use it. Never actually use it.
That's the thing, yeah. The reason I'm like this tool so much, or why I am looking at this tool so much, is very simple. because I know from experience that I might have to, how do I say this? That I might need this at a certain point. So, yeah, that's okay. So I know that I have had instances where I wasn't able to use Postman, for example. Yeah, that's okay. I've had that before where I'm not able to use Postman, and this seems like a really good alternative. Although I don't know what to. Oh, here, look, I can fucking save my sessions. What the fuck? I'm sorry that I'm so impressed with this thing. I seem like a fucking small child, which I am, but this is just fantastic. It's just fantastic. Let's see this thing in action. So we want to call to this with a get with a JSON. That's okay. We get a 404. That's okay. File save session. Let's save this as test.json. Save this test.json and then read play this. Oh god, I am like a happy small child now. File load session. Test.json. Session loaded. Yeah! Ooh! Dude! Dude! I'm so happy. That's exactly what I wanted. It's like a fucking Christmas child. A Christmas present. Okay, the people on YouTube are probably like, what the hell is this buffoon doing? This is so boring. But for me, this is just magic. And that's what I want to do, dude. This is what I want to stream. I love the fact that there are 6 people watching now, which are probably like, what the fuck, dude? This is just fun for me. I also like to, what I like to do is, I like to create pointless, and I mean that in the most literal way, pointless games. Like I like RuneScape, for example. One time I had ChatGPT create me a game where you had a player that you could auto mine, auto woodcut, auto fish, and it could level up. If it leveled up, it could go and like mine different nodes. If it could mine different nodes, and it could also fish different things. You could speed shit up. I don't know if it's on this one, but I doubt it. But yeah, no, I don't think it's in here. HD, no, Hacker Rats is in here. The full Hacker Rats thing is in here. The code and everything, so we could set that up again. That seems like fun, right? But yeah, let's not do that. So now that we had, fuck, now I forgot. There we go. Okay, so tools, that's a nice tool for me. This is something that I am potentially going to use in the future, but like you say, potentially using things in the future is different than making a tool like this for bug bounties and never using it, or making a broad scope tool and hacking and broad scope shit and then never using it, right? Because also you can keep expanding on those things and you can keep adding on them. For this as well, I could think of countless other ideas. Let me know if you'd like to auto-load the last session on startup, add preferences or default proxy settings, include the export to CDF, or yeah, why not? I also wanted to also include auto testing. Oh no, let's do it different. Also include auto fuzzing of parameters if I pick that with a list I provide. Now it gets interesting for me once again, because the APIs that I'm thinking about were APIs which needed fuzzing. And the way we set it up was with our own API Python framework. We just made Python request calls, and that worked. It worked really well, and it allowed us to provide a Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, we could list an endpoint, we could list a parameter, and we could list what to test for. So and also authentication tokens, of course, but it ran actually pretty well. Oh god, this thing is writing me a book. Look at that. It's a work of art. So we can export to CSV. We can save our preferences now. That's just great. That's really great. We can send our requests like we wanted to. I don't see any fuzzing in here, so I don't think it added that. Fuzzing, auto fuzzing. I'll implement auto fuzzing next. The dedicated fuzz button that loops through a list of values. Should I target only JSON, only form, or both? So let's see. Yeah, this. It wanted to do both. And how should the list be provided? Through an input. No, yeah, an input box. This is just fantastic. I mean, once again, there are better tools out there, period. But the beauty of this tool, or what I like about this, is the proxy setting, because what I wanted to show you guys is that I can set this to Burp Suite. There's no problem in that. Burp Suite can function as a man-in-the-middle proxy for me. Next, start. I still have a very old community edition because I prefer this version, and I will not update if my life depends on it. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. I'm not doing it. You can see that intercept is still on by default in my version. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. So we have a proxy now that we can set up. I don't need this thing anymore at this point because we have a better version now. And we just want to put that in here and execute it. Now I want to have the API endpoint that I had before, and I want to show you what I meant with that. So we're going to get that endpoint. We don't need a token. This is a GET request. This is a no content, so it doesn't matter. And the proxy is going to be localhost on port 8080. We have no request body, and we want to send that. So we says there's a connection error. SSL. Ah, yes, of course. Who can tell me why this is? There's an SSL certificate error. Why is that? Anybody got an idea? Come on. There's 7 people in the chat. There's 3 people in the Discord. I know.
What is it?
So, what you guys don't know anymore is that before you started hacking, what we had to do is we had to go in Burp Suite and we had to export our certificate and we had to import that in our browsers. Otherwise, SSL didn't work. What is a man-in-the-middle proxy if it can't intercept SSL traffic? That's pretty useless, isn't it? So that's what we had to do, and that's what you have to do if you want to test a mobile application. If you want to test a desktop application, you have to insert Burp Suite certificate into your desktop certificate keychain or whatever that uses. You have to do that in your browser. If you want to use a custom browser like Firefox, you have to insert the Burp Suite certificate. So we can ask it that. Now give me the option to import the Burp Suite cert. That's something that a lot of people tend to forget, and I forgot about it as well, because Burp Suite just makes things so easy for you with a built-in browser that already has that certificate loaded in, so you don't have to do that yourself anymore. That's great. That's fantastic. But you need to know your basics, and I need to forget it. I need to remember as well. By the way, this code that ChatGPT writes can be bug-ridden sometimes, so you have to be a little bit careful. There it goes again. UI continues unchanged from here. I hate it when it says that. So what is the last part that it has is going to be file menu.add command. That's these. So does it have the root? Yeah, okay. That's going to be, oh no, I need to do this, that. and then it says everything stays unchanged. Let's see if that's actually true. I don't believe it for one bit. Okay, so file, import burp suite certificate. So, where the fuck is that again? Let's see. But later, I don't want your fucking updates, you fucking asshole. Settings, proxy, regenerate CA certificate. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And then I need to know where that is. Export in a certificate in, oh Jesus, the certificate in their format, I think. Choose a file to export to, so download, test, save. Yeah, of course, that doesn't work like that. Fuck. I need to just see, because I believe that's in the burp suite. Oh, Jesus. Was it this? Like this? Choose a file to export certificate and private key and password to use for the key store. No, I thought so. Certificate and private key were successfully generated. Yeah, that's true, but fuck. Okay. I don't even remember how to do this myself. Can you imagine how long it's been? Jesus Christ. So now I'm going to be like a noob. How do I export the cert so I can import it here? And I need to go like this because I have the older version. I think I need to just call it .dev, but oh yeah, fuck it. I'm too lazy to look it up. That's also something like ChatGPT makes you lazy. Yeah. There, yeah, see, I just needed to call it the export the certificate in their format, yeah. And then we need to go like this, where we say test.there, save that thing, next, yeah, and then we need to convert it into PEM with this command right here, and we need to change the burp cert thingy right there. So let's do that. Let's open a terminal. I need to cd to downloads, and then in here I need to paste that command. Oh, I don't have it. Copy, paste, but I need to change this to test. Okay, there we go. Now in the tool that we've built, we should be able to import the burp suite certificate that we just generated. Burp suite certificate imported from blah blah blah. So that's good. And then we should be able to make the request. I say should because I mean there might still be bugs in here, but that's okay. We can see that as we go along. Proxy URL should be localhost port 8080. And we still have SSL errors. Great. So yep, we still have errors. And then the fun starts of debugging. Send request. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Hey, and now in burp suite, target proxy HTTP requests. Look at this. We got it in burp suite, guys. Yes, let's go, bitches. Woo! I know this doesn't seem impressive to you, but I'm impressed with myself. Oh, there we go. I said it. I'm impressed with myself. We made a tool that's better than no, it's not better than fucking Postman. What the hell am I saying? But it works nicely. Use fuzz in the body to replace. So I could potentially as well just go here, post, create wish list, try it out. We have a string here, that's a JSON string. So we need to enter that into the body. And let's say that we want to fuzz the first name with a few parameters. The endpoint is this one. Let's just try it out here. Execute. So I can hit the full endpoint. Hoppa. There we go, and let's fuzz for A, B, and C. Fuzz parameters. Hey! It actually does it at the same time. It sends all of those requests at the fucking same time. That's a nice fuzzer. So you're limited to 5 requests per second. Okay. Click. Click. That's a nice fuzzer. Accidental feature, guys. That's how features are born. Nice. Dude, I'm starting to like this tool more and more. I'm actually liking this tool more and more. Damn, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To import Swagger docs. Let's see how it handles that. Because that is, I think that's going to require quite a change. Because of course you need to, if you want to do Swagger, you need to give me options from that Swagger. So it tells me again to, the rest stays unchanged here. No, I want the full import. Give me the full code, because I see that it cuts stuff off from here somewhere. This is not the full code. I want the full code. No, 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 the full code. Freaking hell. Just give me the full code. All of it. There we go. That's what I want you to do. Piece of shit. Just do that. And now I understand Orgus' struggle when he's making bot shit with this thing. I'm starting to understand Orgus. I feel your struggle, mate. Sorry that I make you do that. It's really cool that you can export the history as well. And the fact that you have everything in Burp Suite on top of that just makes it all the better for me, dude. Like, that's just a cherry on the pie as far as I'm concerned. This seems like what I want, but let's just see if it actually did what I want here. Because, I mean, it's ChatGPT Commando. You really expect it to do what you want. Maybe once or twice. So, how can we import now? Import Swagger. So we have to download the swagger.json from the from here. Swagger is here. Swagger.json. Let's just download that. I need to save that as file. Save as, or can I do save link as swagger.json. Now see if that's actually what I wanted it to be. Yep, that is actually the JSON that I need it to be. So that's good, because that means that I can use it in my tool. File import Swagger. Dude. 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 This is fucking nice. Of course it doesn't get the fucking body. That's one thing that it doesn't do. But this is nice. Swagger.json. Let's use postbat. Let's see if we can at least get that body. No, it doesn't get the body in there from the JSON. So that's a shame. That could be better. So we could tell it that. Let's see. Keep the Swagger visible and keep the Swagger visible after selecting an endpoint so it doesn't disappear, so we can pick more after requests. And what I also want at this point is, and it doesn't seem to import the body. Yeah, it's writing the full lines of code. That's good. That's what I needed to do. you put when this stays open, request body, it will now autofill the body near you. Why? Thank you so much, dear ChatGPT. You're a darling. Unless you do something wrong, which you seem to have done here. Why the fuck would it put that on a new line? What? That makes no sense. What? It's literally missing a piece of fucking code. See, that's what I mean. Give me the full code, please. It doesn't fucking work though. There's an error on line 91. What the hell? But there, ooh. See, that's where the trouble begins. Oh, it seems to have. Show me the full code now, please. I fixed it by removing everything. And it stopped doing it. It's okay. I don't want to go too deep into this because I mean we were already building some nice tools here. I mean I can work with this. I see myself being able to work with this to a degree. It's not the best tool, but the reason why Postman isn't allowed sometimes is because you need to log into Postman these days. You didn't have to do that, but now you have to do that if you want to use workspaces and shit like that. So with Amnesia, you don't really have to do that, but I don't like using Amnesia that much. I don't know what it is, but the look and feel of that application, it's just not the same as Postman for me, really. So being able to use something like this, it's just outstanding, because it even does things like authentication. You don't have to worry too much about certain things. I mean, let's see if this at least runs. Alright, we still have it open. I need to quit this. And then it will run again. So it saved my history. It also got my history. That's good. Let's see if we can now import from the swagger.json. You select it. Yeah, that's a get, of course. That's not gonna work with. It did post, it did JSON, it doesn't fill in the body automatically. That's okay. I mean, we can still tinker with this shit, but it gets a lot of it for us already. The thing that it doesn't get yet is the base URL, so you still have to enter the base URL constantly. Might become a little bit annoying, but yeah, that's okay. From what I feel we have here, I feel this is pretty fucking solid already. I mean, this is really going to help some people that are limited in their options, but it's like you guys mentioned as well. Why would you build this when there are better options already available? If you have those better options, hey guys in the chat, by the way, hope you're doing well. Mashkur, hope you're doing well. Mumbert gang, hope you're doing well, my friends. And by the way, if you have a question in the chat, don't hesitate to ask, because I have some of my best students here with me, so I'm sure they'll be happy to help you as well. Yeah, I'm dragging you fuckers into this. Screw you. No, Jesus Christ, what an asshole am I. But this is the fact that it loads the history, that it saves the history, that you can work with that you have the burp suite that you can import. It's just fantastic. I really like it. I really like this tool. Import burp certificate. Burp, there we go. Send request. There we go, we can fuzz again. Dude, I like this so much. Yeah, I know this sounds silly, but for somebody like Ikashikam who's attacking an actual API, then they don't have to build curl, they don't have to build their own API frame, they don't have to fuck around with Postman. Maybe this can be useful, you know? I don't think so, because I think this will still be too buggy. Like, if I'm very open and honest about this needs work. Like, from UI standpoint, this looks ugly as fuck. on top of that, we need to make sure that a lot of bugs go out there if you actually want to use this, because you don't want to get frustrated more than you want to hack. The thing is, that's also why a lot of tools are so obsolete, in my opinion. You're more fucking around with tools than you're actually hacking. That's not fun either, is it? At least it wouldn't be to me. Like, I like hacking in that way, but I don't like fucking around with tools all day, every day. I just don't like doing that. Alright, good stuff. I wonder if we can fuzz like this as well. Probably only in the body. I think so. Yeah, only in the body. I thought so. Wes, stop fucking about with this. This is not okay. We don't want to fuck about with tools too much right now. This is not okay. Not okay. Okay, guys, so these were just a few things that I wanted to talk about. What else that we have on here? Yes, mindset and creativity. That's a fucking good one, isn't it? Mindset and creativity. That's a nice segue. That's a fucking perfect segue, if you ask me. So I want to ask you guys, how do you stay creative? Because that's a requirement here, I think, right, in bug bounties.
Um, no, I'm not stay creative. Sometimes I create. Sometimes I just not.
That's a very good remark, and you may have hit a better remark than you think, because my wife said the same to me today. She was like, "Today I have a really hard time getting up and cleaning the house. Yesterday I didn't have a problem at all. I was cleaning from top to bottom." And that's completely true. You can't win every game. A war isn't won by winning every battle. It doesn't work that way. You shouldn't look at yourself as somebody who is like 50-50 on this. You should look at somebody who is doing their best to evolve towards 60% better, 40% worse days. You know what I mean? You're gonna have shit days, period. You're human. And you are learning to push through those shitty days, which is a very powerful feeling, because that means that if you have a shitty day and you feel like crap, your emotions aren't going to influence your plans and what you really want to do. It still happens for me. It's normal. It's very normal. If you're frustrated with something, it's harder to hack. If you're having a good day, it's easier to hack. But it's something important, I think, to remember that you can't have a good day every day. It doesn't work that way.
For it. And it was a fucking cycle.
I can imagine, yeah. It's something that I also think a lot to myself, where it's like, am I really progressing, you know? Because for me, it's very easy to see that. It's visible. My numbers grow, my subscriber numbers grow, my student numbers grow. For me, it's easy to see that I am still progressing, you know?
Oh, wait.
Sorry?
Let me.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
no,
okay,
no.
no problem, no problem. I thought you said something. I was like, but anyway, just know that you guys are doing really well, both of you. Like I said yesterday, I mean that you're really hunting your best, and that's what matters. I think I'm going to end the stream here for today because I have to get up early tomorrow to get my kids to school. That's another nice thing when you have kids. Suddenly you have to think about them. So I want to thank everybody who's been watching on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Beluden as well. I want to thank Ikajakam. I'm going to ask you guys if you want to say anything before I end the stream.
Mm, what time is it to like
It's now almost midnight, like 22
now
midnight.
bring your kids to school?
Oh, she has to get to school at 8, but I have to wake up at myself. I have to often wake up at 6:30 because I work at a company, the biggest healthcare provider in Belgium, and my task is a centralized infrastructure task. So I am working with a bit every project of the company, and if some of these tests go to red in the morning, you can be damn sure that they're calling me. And I like that to a degree, but it also means that I have to wake up very early often. It's not a problem, you know. I don't mind wake. I don't like sleeping. I don't hate sleeping. I used to love sleeping, man. But now it's like, oh, because I have to, I guess. I'm still trying to get like 7 hours at the very least because it's important, you know. I noticed that when I didn't get a lot of sleep, when I get worse sleep, I perform worse. And it was easier when I was younger. But now I am 33 years old. I am turning 34 in April, guys. I mean, I'm getting older. I need to realize that. I'm not as young anymore. And I have more pains these days, dude. The worse I sleep, the more pains I have. And it's getting to the point where I don't have a part in my body that doesn't hurt anymore. I used to still have like my lower legs that didn't hurt or like my arms that didn't hurt, but no, everything, dude, everything hurts now. It's game over with the calm and easy days. So I have to take care of my body really well, otherwise it's going to get worse. And that is like if you have any mental problems, they get worse by not sleeping well. That's so important to realize, dude. Holy shit.
For real, for real.
Like ADHD, you're gonna focus worse when you're not sleeping well. Autism, you're going to have more dream scenarios when you're not sleeping well. If you have problems with depression, it's getting a lot worse if you're not sleeping well. If you have even a little bit of depression, you can be damn sure that it's going to get a lot worse if you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well. And eating well doesn't mean eating like a fucking like a rabbit or something. No, I don't mean eating salads every day. I mean eating well can also be eating good butter and meat instead of all these carbs that you're filling your face with every day. Or like just some proper vegetables as carbs instead of these fucking cheap potato ass carbs. And I don't mean cheap in like a sense of money wise. I mean cheap in that potato carb, I don't know if you guys know that, but a potato carb is pretty empty as calories. Like it has nutrients and shit and pretty good nutrients, but other vegetables are also good in carbohydrates and like they can fill you up as well. Cabbage, fucking broccoli. Look at me talk about food here. But I don't mean eating fucking salads or no. I eat bacon, dude. I eat fucking lots of bacon. That's healthy. That's fucking healthy food, man. Compared to the shit that you buy in the store, all of that processed bullshit, the fucking Ike noodles and you fucking God knows what you're buying in your cans. Ugh, Jesus. I used to love that shit, mate. You could make me the happiest person in the world with a can of ravioli. I would rather die than eat that right now, dude. I am going to make that shit myself. Dude, since I've learned how to cook, since I learned how they fucking make food tasty in restaurants, I didn't want to go to a restaurant once. Why the hell would I pay my ass off for something that I can make a lot better myself? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, okay, I'm complaining too much. It's time to end the stream. Thanks for